Keep sharp. Build a better brain at any age, by Sanjay Gupta, MD. Introduction. In the dust and chaos of the Iraqi desert in 2003, a young lieutenant was shot in the back of the head. He was thought to be dead, but as his body was being prepared, a pulse returned. He was alive, but his life was hanging by a thread. By a strange twist of fate, a neurosurgeon was embedded with the Navy doctors at that camp. He wasn't there as a surgeon, but as a journalist, covering the war. His name was Dr. Sanjay Gupta. The doctors rushed to him, asking him to trade his reporter's cap for a surgeon's mask. Time was everything. In a makeshift tent, with none of the sterile, high-tech tools of a modern operating room, Dr. Gupta knew he had to relieve the immense pressure building inside the young man's skull. So he did something extraordinary. He took a common Black & Decker drill, sterilized the bit, and used it to perform a craniectomy, to open the skull and give the soldier's swollen brain a chance to survive. It was a desperate, brilliant act of improvisation. He then carefully removed the blood clot and shrapnel. Months later, back in the United States, Dr. Gupta received a call. The young man, Jesus Vidanya, had not only survived, he was recovering, doing well. His survival was a testament to the incredible resilience of the human brain, an organ that can endure the most devastating trauma and, against all odds, find a way to heal. That story tells you everything you need to know about the man who wrote the book we're exploring today. Keep sharp. Dr. Sanjay Gupta isn't just an observer. He is CNN's chief medical correspondent and a practicing neurosurgeon who has held the living, pulsating human brain in his hands. He has seen its fragility and its astonishing power. And in this book, he brings us a message of profound hope, a message born from decades of scientific research and personal experience. He promises us that the greatest fears we have about aging, the fear of forgetting, of losing our minds, of becoming a shadow of our former selves, are not our destiny. He is here to tell us that cognitive decline is not inevitable. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you the secrets held within these pages. We're going to dismantle the destructive myths that have held us back for generations and replace them with a simple, powerful blueprint for building a better brain. A brain that is not only protected from disease, but is sharper, faster, and more resilient, no matter your age. This is not a book about living in fear of the future. It's a guide to creating the best possible future for your mind, starting today. Book summary. Let's begin with a simple question. What do you picture when you think of your brain? For most of us, it's a bit of a mystery. A gray, wrinkled mass tucked away in what Dr. Gupta calls the inner black box of our skull. For centuries, we've treated it that way, as something fixed, untouchable, and frankly, a little scary. The old story we were told was a pessimistic one. We believed we were born with a certain number of brain cells, and that from that day forward, the only path was downhill. Life was a slow, steady process of losing what we had. Every forgotten name, every misplaced set of keys, seemed like a confirmation of this grim reality. Brain damage was thought to be permanent. Decline was seen as a natural, unavoidable part of getting old. But what if I told you that story is completely wrong? In recent decades, there has been a quiet revolution in neuroscience, a revolution that has shattered those old beliefs and replaced them with a truth that is far more exciting. Scientists have made two monumental discoveries. The first is called neurogenesis. It's a simple but world-changing idea. Our brains can, and do, create new brain cells throughout our entire lives. You are not stuck with what you were born with. Your brain is a living, growing garden, not a fixed stone sculpture. The second discovery is neuroplasticity. This idea is even more powerful. It means your brain isn't hardwired. It is constantly remodeling itself, forming new connections and pathways in response to your experiences, your thoughts, and your actions. Every time you learn a new skill, meet a new person, or even just think a new thought, you are physically changing the structure of your brain. Think about the incredible story of Phineas Gage, a railroad worker in the 1800s. A horrific accident sent a massive iron rod straight through his head, destroying a large part of his brain's frontal lobe. Miraculously, he survived. But he was changed. The polite, well-mannered man was gone, replaced by someone impulsive and unreliable. His story was the first real proof that specific parts of the brain were linked to personality. But there's a part of his story that often gets left out. In his later years, some accounts suggest that Gage started to regain some of his old, more agreeable self. His brain, even after such a devastating injury, was trying to heal itself, to rewire around the damage. It was an early glimpse of neuroplasticity in action. This new understanding, that our brains can grow, change, and heal, is the foundation of everything in Keep Sharp. It is the source of the book's incredible optimism. Your brain is not a passive victim of time. It is an active participant in its own destiny, and you are the director. But if our brains are so wonderfully dynamic, why do they sometimes fail us? Why do we fear conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia? To build a better brain, we first have to understand the forces that can weaken it. Dr. Gupta explains that when things go wrong, it's often due to two culprits that gum up the works inside our head. Imagine them as villains in our story. The first are called amyloid plaques. Think of them as sticky, toxic clumps that build up between your brain cells, disrupting their ability to communicate. The second are tau tangles. These are twisted fibers that build up inside the brain cells, choking them from within. For a long time, scientists focused almost exclusively on these plaques and tangles, but a bigger picture is now emerging. A key player in this story is inflammation. Dr. Gupta uses a powerful metaphor. If the plaques are the match that starts the fire, and the tangles are the brush fires that spread, then neuroinflammation is the raging forest fire that does the most damage, killing off healthy brain cells in its path. This inflammation can be triggered by many things, including poor diet, chronic stress, and lack of sleep. Now, here is the most important myth that Dr. Gupta is determined to debunk. Dementia, in any form, is not a normal part of aging. It is a disease. Forgetting where you put your keys is normal. Forgetting what your keys are for is not. And because it's a disease, it often has causes we can influence. Many of the risk factors are tied to our lifestyle, the very choices we make every single day. This brings us to the heart of the book. If our brains are capable of change, and if we understand what harms them, then what can we do to help them? Dr. Gupta lays out a simple yet profound framework, an owner's manual for the brain we were never given. He calls them the 5 pillars of brain health. They are: move, discover, relax, nourish, and connect. Let's walk through them together. Pillar 1. Move. If you were to ask Dr. Gupta for the single most important thing you can do for your brain, his answer would be one word: exercise. This isn't just about keeping your body fit, it's about fundamentally changing your brain's biology. When you move your body, especially in a way that gets your heart rate up, you trigger the release of a miraculous protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Dr. John Ratey, a neuropsychiatrist at Harvard, famously called BDNF Miracle-Grow for the brain. And that's exactly what it is. BDNF helps nurture the growth of new brain cells, protects the ones you already have, and encourages new connections between them. Exercise also fights our enemy, inflammation. It helps control blood sugar, which, when it runs too high, can be toxic to the brain. And it improves blood flow, delivering a rich supply of oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your mind. And here's the best part: you don't have to become a marathon runner. The science is clear that even brisk walking, getting your heart rate up for about 30 minutes, 5 days a week, can have a powerful, protective effect. As Dr. Gupta likes to say, just try to break a sweat every day. Pillar 2. Discover. Your brain thrives on challenge. Just like your muscles, it operates on a use it or lose it principle. This brings us to the concept of cognitive reserve. Imagine your brain is a city. Your cognitive reserve is like building a vast, interconnected network of roads, bridges, and highways. If one road gets blocked by a traffic jam, or in the brain's case, by a bit of damage or a plaque, a brain with a high cognitive reserve has countless other routes it can take to get the message where it needs to go. It can navigate around the problem. How do you build this cognitive reserve? By learning new things. But here's the secret: It has to be something that is both new and cognitively complex. This is why the old advice to just do a crossword puzzle a day is a myth. If you're already good at crossword puzzles, doing another one is like driving down a familiar road. It doesn't build new pathways. Instead, challenge yourself with something outside your comfort zone. Learn a new language, pick up a musical instrument, take a class in something you know nothing about. That's what builds a resilient, adaptable brain. This pillar is also about having a sense of purpose, what the Okinawans call ikigai, your reason for getting up in the morning. Studies show that people who retire and disengage from challenging activities have a higher risk of developing dementia. Staying engaged, feeling like you have a reason to learn and contribute, is one of the most powerful forms of brain protection there is. Pillar 3. Relax. In our busy, hyper-connected world, we treat rest as a luxury. Dr. Gupta argues it is a biological necessity. This pillar is about managing two of the brain's most subversive enemies, chronic stress and a lack of sleep. First, let's talk about sleep. We used to think of sleep as the brain just switching off. We now know it's one of the most active and important times of the day for our mind. While you sleep, your brain is hard at work performing a critical maintenance task. Dr. Gupta calls it the rinse cycle. A remarkable network called the glymphatic system kicks into high gear, acting like a power washing crew that flushes out the metabolic waste and toxic proteins, including those sticky amyloid plaques, that build up during the day. When you consistently deprive yourself of sleep, you are robbing your brain of this essential cleaning service. The junk builds up, night after night, increasing inflammation and raising your risk for cognitive decline. The goal is 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep a night. It's not lazy, it's medicine. The second part of relaxing is managing stress. When you are chronically stressed, your body is flooded with a hormone called cortisol. Short bursts of cortisol can be helpful, but when it's flowing all the time, it is toxic to the brain, particularly to the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. Chronic stress can literally shrink your memory hub. Finding ways to unwind is not an indulgence, it's a critical part of brain maintenance. This doesn't have to be complicated. Simple practices like deep breathing, spending time in nature, or meditation can powerfully counteract the effects of stress and protect your brain for the long haul. Pillar 4. Nourish. The idea that you are what you eat is especially true for your brain. This incredible organ, which makes up only about 2% of your body weight, consumes a whopping 20% of your body's energy. It is incredibly hungry, and what you feed it matters immensely. The nutrition advice in Keep Sharp is wonderfully simple and easy to remember with the acronym SHARP. S is for /sugar. Excess sugar is one of the biggest drivers of inflammation in the body and brain. Chronic high blood sugar can lead to insulin resistance in the brain, a condition some scientists have started calling type 3 diabetes. Your brain cells essentially start to starve because they can't get the fuel they need. H is for hydrate. Your brain is about 73% water. Even mild dehydration can impair your attention, memory, and other cognitive skills. Often when you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty. A is for add omega-3s. Your brain is the fattiest organ in your body, and a large part of it is built from omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats are essential for maintaining healthy brain cells. You can find them in foods like fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, flax seeds, and walnuts. R is for reduced portions. In a world of supersized meals, simple calorie control is a powerful tool. Overeating puts a huge metabolic stress on your body, which translates to stress on your brain. And P is for plan ahead. The easiest way to eat junk food is to get caught hungry with no healthy options available. Planning your meals and having healthy snacks on hand is a simple strategy to ensure you're feeding your brain, not fighting against it. Pillar 5. Connect. This final pillar may be the most surprising, and perhaps the most deeply human. For all the talk of biology and chemistry, one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain is to connect with other people. For over 80 years, the Harvard Study of Adult Development, one of the longest-running studies on human life ever conducted, has tracked thousands of people. They've looked at their cholesterol, their careers, their wealth, and their genes. And when the researchers boiled it all down to find the single greatest predictor of a long, healthy, and happy life, it wasn't money or fame. It was the quality of their relationships. Loneliness, they found, is toxic. Feeling isolated creates a chronic stress response in the body, driving up inflammation and harming not just our emotional well-being, but our physical brain health. Meaningful social connection, on the other hand, is a powerful buffer against stress. It stimulates the brain in complex ways and helps build that all-important cognitive reserve. Dr. Gupta points to the tradition in Okinawa, Japan, a place known for its incredible longevity. They have a concept called a moai, a small group of friends who support each other for their entire lives, through good times and bad. This built-in social safety net is a cornerstone of their health and well-being. So, call a friend, join a club, volunteer, have a meaningful conversation. These aren't just nice things to do, they are essential acts of brain maintenance. To bring all these pillars together, the book offers a practical, 12-week program, a step-by-step guide to gradually incorporate these habits into your daily life. It's a reminder that this isn't about a radical overnight transformation. It's about making small, consistent choices that, over time, build a stronger, healthier, and sharper brain. It's about proving to yourself, day by day, that your brain's best years are not behind you. They are still ahead. Commentary. As we reach the end of our journey through Keep Sharp, what stays with me the most is not a complex scientific formula or a rigid set of rules. It is a profound and liberating sense of empowerment. For so long, the conversation around brain health has been dominated by fear, the fear of a genetic lottery we can't win, the fear of an inevitable decline we can't escape. Dr. Gupta's greatest contribution with this book is to change that conversation entirely. He replaces fear with hope, and fatalism with action. The single most powerful lesson from these pages is that the fate of our brain is not sealed at birth. It is being written every single day, by the choices we make. Our genes may load the gun, but it is our lifestyle that pulls the trigger. And that is incredibly good news, because our lifestyle is something we have control over. This isn't a book that asks you to become someone else. It simply asks you to become a more conscious, caring steward of the incredible organ that creates your entire reality. It doesn't demand perfection, it celebrates progress. It shows us that building a better brain isn't about some mysterious, complicated secret. It's about returning to the fundamental, timeless truths of what it means to live a healthy human life. So, how can you start applying these powerful ideas right now, today? I would suggest 3 simple things. First, just move. Later today, go for a brisk walk. For 20 or 30 minutes, get your heart rate up. Feel the blood flowing. Remember that you are not just exercising your body, you are giving your brain a dose of that miracle-grow protein, BDNF. It is the single best investment you can make in your mind. Second, connect. Pick up the phone and call a friend or family member you haven't spoken to in a while. Don't text, call. Have a real conversation. Ask them how they are and really listen to the answer. That simple act of human connection is a powerful antidote to the toxic stress of loneliness and a wonderful workout for the social parts of your brain. And third, discover something new. It doesn't have to be big. Read an article about a topic you know nothing about. Watch a documentary on a historical event you've never studied. Use your non-dominant hand to brush your teeth tonight. Do something that nudges your brain out of its comfortable ruts and forces it to build a tiny new pathway. The beauty of the brain, as Dr. Gupta reminds us, is that it is perhaps the only organ in our body that can actually get stronger as we age. Our muscles may weaken, our eyesight may fade, but our mind can continue to grow in wisdom, resilience, and sharpness, if we care for it. Your brain is the architect of your life story. It holds every memory, every lesson, every moment of joy. This book is the blueprint for ensuring that architect stays brilliant, creative, and strong for all the years to come. That was a summary of Keep Sharp by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. We've explored the main ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The map is useful, it shows you the layout, but it can never replace the experience of actually walking the trails, meeting the people, and discovering the hidden treasures for yourself. If any of the ideas we've discussed, the power of neuroplasticity, the 5 pillars of health, the simple, actionable steps to protect your mind, have sparked something in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy of the book. Reading it is more than just learning. It's an investment in the future of your mind, and there is no greater investment you can make. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if this journey through Keep Sharp has been valuable to you, please take a moment to like this summary and subscribe to Billionaire's Bookshelf. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another book that has the power to change your life. Thank you for listening, and let's continue to build our best selves, together.